What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the video. My name is Chris, as always with me.
Liam not jumping.
He didn't jump. If you know about that joke, you've been here a while, drop it down in the comments below. But welcome. If you're just tuning in for the first time, we are a show about shirts. No, we are a show about shows. Never pretend to be experts. We do get some things right when we predict things, but we really just love entertainment, especially sci-fi, fantasy. Really enjoy character growth, like the arcs to development, world building especially. So we talk about all these things here on the show, and today we are diving into season 2, episode 4 of Handmaid's Tale, as you saw in the thumbnail. Now, many of you have been joining us for this entire journey, so welcome back. We'll see you guys down in the comments in just a bit. But some of you might be tuning in for the first time, so if you are, we do know Handmaid's Tale, especially season 2, is almost a decade old by now. But we had such a fun time going through season 6 with you guys that you asked us to go back through and re-review since I hadn't seen them yet. And so that's what we're doing here. So if you want to join us on that journey, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe so you can keep continuing with us. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. But other than that, we'll see you down in the comments. Let's roll.
All right, so June's recaptured again, being re-indoctrinated.
Yeah.
And they want her to go back. But first we start off with her kind of going into, chained to a bed in the basketball court?
Yeah, so she's back at what looks like the Red Center, and yeah, 100%. She is isolated to what seems like I would say a basketball court would be a correct assessment, and she's chained down. And I predicted last episode that now that she was caught, she was basically going to be a caged rat waiting for her time to expire. Once she had the baby, they were just going to offer. And Aunt Lydia, still being one of my favorite characters in this entire series, comes in and basically tells her that. She's like, listen, that's your option, or there's this other thing we could try.
But the way she does it, though, is like, yeah, June's going to carry the baby the full term and then be executed. But Offred has an opportunity to stick around if she behaves, kind of thing.
I am so glad that you brought that up. You know, you got sick, so we didn't review right as I watched it, so it kind of slipped my mind that was said, because while I was watching it, that really stood out to me, because we had a debate. I believe it was when we did the live video, actually. It was when we were live, the difference between Offred and June was. Because you kept talking about them as if they were two different people. And I was like, maybe I'm missing something, which I was, but I look at them as the same person. And then you and everybody else who had already watched the entire series is like, no, they're two different people, and this is why. And this episode really drove that point home for me, where I was like, oh, even the series refers to them as two different people. So no wonder as an audience, we collectively are going to refer to them as two separate entities, even though they're one woman. So I was like, oh, makes sense now. So I'm glad you brought that up, because it was like a full circle moment for me, because I was missing something when you guys were all like, I was the kid in the room that didn't know the secret. Now I know the secret.
So now bringing back this whole the two identity thing.
Yeah.
When I was watching this was during the 2020 pandemic, when we were in lockdown and stuff. But also the same time when I was going through learning marketing with you, soaking up all the other information, and about the same time as I came across Steve Larson's video about Steve and Steven.
Oh, yeah. Putting on a persona so that he could market. Yeah. Yep.
So it was like within the same month that I saw both those, this episode and that video.
Yeah.
So ever since that moment, I've seen them as two different people, because y'all might not know me like personally, but on here, I put on the person, I'm more secluded myself. Yes, I'm very much a hermit, I guess. Hermit. I like to keep to myself, but here I have to talk. I'm not even a big talker normally. Like when I'm at your house at parties, I'm just kind of quiet, soaking up everything.
Yeah.
So here is when I usually do my talking, is like on camera or when I'm with students. So I just felt that was important information to add.
Valuable, absolutely. You've also stepped up your ability to communicate to large people over the years in like great ways. I mean, when we first started working together, you didn't even want to write something about yourself and put it online. Now you'll jump on Zoom calls, you'll talk in front of stages, like you'll do anything.
Yeah, it's so different how things are when you have them in your mind, and then when you finally do them, it's like, oh, it was never as bad as I really imagined, and then it just always gets easier.
So much worse. Our imaginations always make it so much worse. But back in the whole.
Sorry, a little tangent, a little backstory for
you want to really get to know us. The lab calls are awesome for that, by the way. But anyway, we're going back in.
So she has this whole ultimatum that she was given, and then we also have the whole she was kidnapped thing.
Yeah, that was an interesting twist, because it lets Fred and his whole house save face. It lets Gilead kind of have keep their lid on it, so that the handmaids don't think something's happening. And it also kind of just gives our main hero an opportunity to live a little bit longer, right? Gives her the opportunity to keep going. So yeah, that was interesting twists. I was happy to see it. Obviously, I knew something was going to happen, but
Mayday's labeled a terrorist organization.
Yep.
We also got to see when she gets back to the house, Serena's not too thrilled to have her there.
no.
Especially after she found out that she was sleeping on with her husband with emotions involved for him, but because it's no longer just that little thing where she's laying in her lap kind of thing. So she's quite upset to have her back in the house for that. She is excited for the kid. And while I'm talking about that real quick, I want to bring up how creepy it was when Serena crawled into that fucking bed with her and started rubbing off her stomach
As if she
while
wasn't even
sleeping,
there. Yeah.
and just talking to the kid as if she's talking her own stomach.
Yeah, I agree. Creepy is an excellent word for that scene. And the whole time I'm like looking at we'll call her Offred at this moment, and just the look on her face of like just utter disbelief that this thing is even happening the way it's happening. It's like, what is even going on right now? Just completely not oblivious. Because she's not oblivious to the fact she's there. She's like actively acting as if she isn't there. It's so crazy. It's disillusioned, what it is.
I'm not touching you. I'm not
Right.
right.
It's disillusioned is the word I think I'm looking for, because that's just that. Yeah, that was next level. You are just a piece of property to me, and I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. Yeah.
It makes me feel extremely dirty. But while we're talking about feeling extremely dirty, that bathtub scene, that was creepy as fuck. And I love how, okay, so I'm laughing at it because it is so fucked up and twisted. At the same time, I think it was awesome that June was able to take back that little bit of control when Aunt Lydia's like, wash down there, and she's just like staring at her as she's vigorously cleaning herself.
Yeah. That's one thing that I noticed June do a lot in this episode, and it's probably because she knows they can't touch her because she's pregnant, is those little jabs, that little bit of defiance she gives back, especially with Serena.
Yes.
To Serena, she will openly, like verbally, like defy her, and I think that's been fun to watch.
Like the baby shower when she's like, oh, one of my favorite things was feeling the first kick, and Serena's like, oh, it's too soon for that, and June's like, oh, I felt the baby kick last night.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, she's really digging it into whenever she can, and it's great to see.
There was one other really good opportunity that she did that when it was like, oh, all these gifts. I really hope my kid doesn't end up spoiled, or we gotta be careful about making the kid spoiled. And June's like, yeah, when I had my baby shower, I give away half the toy. And then she got escorted out, but poor Rita got slapped in the face.
Yeah, well, Serena wants to abuse somebody, right?
Yeah.
So
Can't take out in June.
Rita became a surrogate beatdown.
Aunt Lydia drags her out of the house and is like, all right, we're going for a walk. Right? So she brings her down to the killing wall where you got to see.
I know, last episode, one of the things I said was just how relieved I was that Omar, the guy who drove the bread truck, and his family kind of got away, right? He helped her, and then she left, so I thought they were good. Found out this episode, not so much. The wife is now a handmaid, the husband's dead, and just like Hannah, the son, right, it was a son, was essential in their family, given a better life, as if they said for Hannah too, with a more Gilead-focused family. So the one thing I was hoping didn't happen, which was extra trauma, extra grief on June, is the exact thing that, you know, Aunt Lydia laid pretty heavy on her in this episode when she was really trying to get her to stop being so damn defiant. And that's the only thing she can do is mental manipulation. They can't tase her. They can't physically harm her. And they really can't even put her through too much stress, because that could hurt the baby too. But they can hurt her mentally. They can really fuck with her with the trauma like they're trying.
So after watching that scene where Aunt Lydia's like, look, I'm doing the best I can here. I'm looking to give you an opportunity where you can live the best life possible in your current situation. I was like, oh, okay, she's going to do something nice. But no, she does not do anything nice. She goes and tears her down and separates the two identities, June and Offred, and makes June the evil person, and makes June say these things out loud, admitting to all this. This is when her psyche kind of breaks, was in that scene to me. But it made me think, what was Aunt Lydia before? Because she is really good with manipulation and psychology. mythology. So much so that it could be like the one Handmaid in season 6. Not Handmaid, but one Aunt in season 6 where she had all the special
CIA.
Yep.
Yeah.
It
CIA.
makes me wonder whether Aunt Lydia has that kind of covert asset building knowledge.
I don't know why, but I just get like old school Catholic nun vibes from her. Maybe it's because the way that Martha's dress and act, but like for me, I would believe that in the old world, she was a nun. She was like a true believer of religion.
Okay.
And that's why she gets to such a position of power when Gilead takes over. It's because she was already a believer. She was already part of, whatever religious sect that was. Let us know down in the comments if you know exactly what Aunt Lydia was doing before Gilead took over and she becomes, a aunt. But
the manipulation involved, though, she
Yeah.
is extremely skilled in that.
I just think that's her.
You think that's her?
Yeah, that's a good observation though, because the average person is not trained that level of mental manipulation. But there are people out there who have it.
Naturally,
Yes, for sure. And she's also old. Like her character's old, which means she's experienced. It gives me wisdom experience, right? That's how I reflect that. And so she may have just been, because she's not, for her to be any kind of intelligence agent, she would have to be able to pass a physical exam. And for she to be too old and too out of shape.
Doesn't mean she couldn't have done it earlier in life.
Fair enough. Yeah, this is a really great question. I don't know. What did Aunt Lydia do before she became Aunt Lydia?
Because here she has too much training and too skilled in this. Like she has it broken down to an art.
She's very good.
Yes, in this despicable thing that she does.
She's just based on the way that like things are laid out. She's like in charge of the ant. She's like the head one, right?
In that area, that's the knowledge I have,
Yeah, 'cause,
or
like,
how I look at it.
Everyone kind of like bows down to her, it seems. So I'm guessing she's in charge, which means that,
She is like the most powerful woman.
yeah. Because you
that
saw that at the stoning of Janine when she had the Guardians back down. She had men back down from her.
Yep.
Yeah. And in Gilead, that's like, women don't mean it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
This is why I have these questions.
No, this is something I want to get to the bottom of now. What is Aunt Lydia's experience prior to becoming, is she trained in any way in espionage, mental torture, manipulation? Does she have any of that training?
Or CIA type shit.
Yeah. Or is she just good at like what she does? I don't know.
I don't know either. But there's one other thing that I want to bring up that's not in my notes is the whole ceremony that they did with June, the other wives.
The fake baby shower? Or were the other ceremonies?
Before that, when there was the pillow on the ground where she had to kneel down on it, and they had these strings with what looked to be knots.
The binding ceremony, I was calling
yeah.
it, where they like, bind them together so it's like one baby now.
Is it me, or was that like very pagan?
Oh yeah. Especially after watching, we called it welfare witches, but Mayfair witches, and the way they did that wedding ceremony at the end of the season, reminded me very much of like the Druidic Scotland Celtic style of
And when we say welfare witches, we're not poking fun at the actual show itself. We just said that as a mistake because we were thinking like Mayfair, the app, and then welfare, and we just kept fucking it up.
It was a mistake you couldn't get rid of. Yeah, so it became a running joke. But anyway.
Yes, we had the flashbacks for Luke, June, and Luke's wife.
Yeah, wow. Those are some, goosebump situation scenes.
There was like 3 of them, right?
It escalates, yeah.
Yeah.
It slowly escalates. Like, first we find out that the wife knows and she confronts June. And then it, like, jumps to where now it's a couple of years in the future. They've been together for a little while. And she's trying to sabotage this thing. And then the last one is they see... I don't think they speak to each other.
She walks into like a coffee shop and she's
Hannah's
sitting
there. And
yep.
So it progresses as it moves along.
She sees the kid and just backs out.
Those first 2 experiences are hard to watch. I mean, one, you can feel for both sides is the problem, right? Because one, June truly fell in love with the man, did do some adultering and things that were wrong, but
Emotions are messy.
at the same time, this woman loves him too. And so they're both in love with the same man, making the love triangle as messy as they always will be. And so they're both fighting for love at this point. And unfortunately, that can lead people down a very spiteful, cruel, violent path. And for her, she chose to just like verbally try to tear June apart.
And Luke goes off on her.
Calls her a whore.
And the voicemail.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. No, it was a voicemail. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Luke cracks me up sometimes just with his whole like demeanor. It's funny to me. But yeah, so I fell for both women. And at the end of the day, Luke should have ended that relationship before he continued it with June to ever prevent these things from happening. But him not being able to let go fast enough ended them in a situation they're in now. And also June not putting her foot down and being like, if you want to be with me, then you have to be with just me. So like you said, emotions are messy, man. Outside looking in, you could say you should have done this and this. But you know, when you meet someone and fall in love, it's a very hard situation.
Yes. And so we got to see Alma talk to June at the baby shower on the stairs, right? Found out that Of Glenn had lost her tongue, the second one.
Yeah.
Of Glenn 2.0.
Yeah, that was her punishment. So we noticed that in that scene, we noticed two things that I thought were important. It was that all the handmaids were punished in some way for that situation with Janine. The only one that hasn't been truly punished is June. That's because she's pregnant, so they're psychologically punishing her with all the other things. But Alma gets you to, they immediately go to the burn on her arm again and show you like what Aunt Lydia did to her in response to that. And then you also hear that, you know, Of Glenn no longer has a tongue, which is pretty gnarly.
And also found out that Mayday has gone quiet, but they don't know whether anyone was captured or anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of heat going on right now. Mayday just failed I wouldn't call it a rescue attempt, but a prison escape. They failed to get June out. Right, that was all Mayday working behind the scenes. Nick kept mentioning Mayday's going to do this, Mayday's going to do that. Now, do I think Nick had more to do with that than he's letting on? And was he maybe the reason June didn't actually get away? I think he may have been, but I think that's his own emotions and love getting in the way and not wanting her, like not actually wanting to let her go, wanting to keep her close.
Oh, so you think he fucked up the plot to get her out of the country just to keep her nearby to him?
Yeah, I think that other driver that showed up was someone that Nick helped and also
Knew would be followed.
Sent people after at the same time. And then June just happened to be there and he gets June back, knowing she's pregnant with his kid and doesn't want either of them to leave.
I never thought of it that way. Sorry, I'm going through it in my head like, wow.
Why else would he look so much like Nick? Why would the writers want us to think of Nick in that moment if Nick wasn't involved somehow? I don't know. I'm really stuck on that. You know me, I get stuck on things sometimes. So
Well, so do I. I read into things more than I should sometimes too. So yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting one. My mind's going to go down that rabbit hole for the next how many hours now. But did you notice how she won't even talk to Nick anymore? Yeah. Like she won't talk to him. Like she was just like, oh, weather's nice. After she had the mental break, the break in her psyche.
Yeah.
But when she was laying up on the floor, the carved stuff in the closet's gone.
Yeah, well, it was sanded specifically in those locations as if someone with the knowledge of it being there went in and eliminated just that. It's not like the whole door frame was redone. It's like someone came in and sanded just those areas. So
Who do you think did that or found it?
seeing as how Serena or Fred didn't bring it up, I would think that either Martha, when she checked the room for the envelopes, maybe went back to see if there's anything else.
Rita?
Rita. Or Nick is covering his own tracks. Trying to help June in any way he can.
But she just goes down this whole rabbit hole where she's just, I'm worthless over and over. We know how much self-talk matters.
Well, I am, yeah. But at this point, I think that's what Aunt Lydia was going for. So Aunt Lydia is just very successful in the manipulation she's currently using on her. That's all. Aunt Lydia is very good at what she does. She creates these handmaids. Like I wouldn't be surprised if she wrote some of the freaking class, like the structure of the freaking breaking process, right? She seems like she's like very good at this. That's why I want to know what she does now. I want to know this.
Yeah, that was my whole thought behind that. Is like, wow, she is extremely gifted with this.
Yeah.
I forgot how deep it was. Going through it a second time for me, it gives me a chance to soak up so much more than the very first time all those years ago that I watched this. 5 years ago now.
Yeah. No, it's been interesting to watch, especially Aunt Lydia, because her range of emotion is fun. She goes from absolutely cruel to almost compassionate. It's crazy to watch.
And it feels like that line blurs because you never quite know which one it's going to be. Is she being compassionate for the sake of the manipulation, or is that truly her?
Yeah. I think she truly believes everything she says and does. Like there's no, until season 6 at least, where she was educated on some of the things and then she kind of switches.
But I can't begin to be inside her head with what she's thinking in those moments. That's why I brought that up.
So I would believe that in that moment, she's truly trying to do what would be best for June to keep her alive. Like when she talks to her.
She's just using a dark way to get her there.
Yeah.
So we've had this conversation before where there's a line between manipulation and helping people.
Persuasion and manipulation.
Yes. We've had this conversation so many times before.
Yeah.
So do you see it more as persuasion now, given that context or that way of thinking that we're going down?
Well, manipulation is getting someone to do something for your benefit. Persuasion is getting someone to do something for their benefit.
Which you just said Aunt Lydia wants to do this to help June and truly believes that.
Yeah.
So would that be persuasion in her eyes?
I also think that there is
Degrees.
white hat, dark hat, right? Like
Yeah.
video games. And so I think that there are ways that people, especially like con artists and things like that, can take the arts of persuasion and twist them so much that they just feel right, even though there's a darker agenda behind it. And I think because of the nature of Gilead and just how evil that belief system is, we associate Aunt Lydia with evil right now. She's a tool of this. But I think that there's a heart inside of her where she's using this evil, of course, because that is who she is and the tool she has, but also at the same, with June specifically and Janine, you can see it, where it's no longer, I'm trying to break you or I'm trying to manipulate you. It's, I am literally trying to save you. Like, I'm trying to help you. Work with me right now. So it's like a different thing. I think there are manipulation tactics that she uses, but like when she's talking to her, especially like down by Omar and by the creek there, I think she's truly just trying to persuade her and be compassionate.
Just using tools that she has available because she doesn't know how to do it any other way.
Using evil because that's what she's got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Oh, that's another path I could go down.
So one thing I wanted to talk about that I thought was kind of fun to see, parallel to June having to suffer through Serena's baby shower, you also have like this party thing going out on the field where they're skeet shooting, right? And, you know, Fred's out there trying to like, you know, push his position and gain favor and raise up in the ranks. He even asks for permission to like go be an emissary. And the dude, I forget his name right now, but he's like the main commander, the guy that's in charge of like all the military, the one that Nick actually answers to. And the dude's like, well, is your house in order? And he's like, yeah, I'm so happy that my house is in order. And he's like, well, you mean back in order, right? Like, because it wasn't in order. It's like calls him out on his shit. And Fred's just sitting there like has an eat crow. I'm like, oh, that was good. I like that.
We also forgot about the scene where she has to ask to stay in the house, where she's down on her knees in front of the fireplace.
When she puts the mask back on and becomes Offred. Yeah.
After she's already had her psyche broken.
Yeah. Well, at this point, she's given in and she's turned off June, like just like they were trying to do. But, you know, we saw it the whole episode. June has been turned off for now, and Offred is currently taking the wheel.
So she starts off with this half-assed apology kind of thing. Serena calls her on it and is like, you've got nothing else to say. And that's when she takes another moment to jab Serena again by giving the puppy dog eyes to Fred. And it's like, give me an opportunity to be a good girl kind of thing, right? What the fuck?
She's very good at that, which I think as a viewer gives us like that little silver lining, because she's in such a horrible situation. But the fact that she can at least get jabs in on Serena gives you like that little bit of that silver lining.
A little hope,
Yeah.
yeah. And then we get left off on the episode of Nick rushing out to talk to her, and she's just like, yeah, beautiful weather, and kind of ignores him, goes out the gate. But every time he called her June, did you notice her head did this little tick?
I didn't notice that, no.
It did it really dominantly in the first time he said the name June. Then the second time he said her name, she just had a little bit and then no reaction a third, from my recollection. I took note of that, and I don't know if that was intentional, but if it was intentional, that was really well done to show the reaction to the name, to slowly showing that she doesn't respond to it anymore.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, but that's good stuff. That's subtle.
Anyone else see it?
That's subtle. Yeah, and now she just won't talk to him, which, I mean, if you think about everything she's been through, and then the last big escape, he kind of was, you know, behind the scenes orchestrating it with her. She could be a little upset with him right now, so makes sense that she doesn't want to talk to him.
Or it could be showing that June's no longer there and she fully is Offred.
Could be. We'll find out next episode. If you guys enjoyed this episode, hit that like button. If you are not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. It's a little click for you, but greatly helps us out. And we'll catch you guys in the comments below. But until then, we'll see you on the next video. Peace.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.